In a world where information screams from every corner of our screens, where each scroll offers another chance to compare, react, or worry, there's a voice that speaks with steady calm. It's not new. In fact, it's over 2,000 years old. Yet its clarity pierces through the modern fog like a lighthouse on a stormy sea. That voice is Stoicism. Stoicism isn't a trend. It isn't a quick fix. It's a deep, demanding, and ultimately liberating philosophy, a way of seeing life that strips away illusion and anchors us to what's real, what's eternal, and what we can actually control. It's the philosophy of emperors and exiles, of thinkers and warriors. It has survived burning cities, collapsing empires, and the numbing noise of the internet age. Why? Because its truths are universal. They speak to something in us that wants to be calm in chaos, unshaken by failure, unmoved by applause. Something in us that wants to be free. This video is a conversation with Stoicism, not as an abstract theory, but as a lived philosophy. We'll walk through its roots, explore its timeless teachings, and ask what it means for us today. We won't treat the Stoics like museum exhibits. We'll treat them like guides, stern but kind, who sit across from us and say, yes, life is hard, but you are capable of meeting it well. Let's begin. What is Stoicism, and who were the Stoics? Stoicism was born not in luxury, but in loss. Around 300 BCE, Zeno of Citium, a wealthy merchant, was shipwrecked and left with nothing. Lost in Athens, he wandered into a bookshop and found a copy of Xenophon's Memorabilia of Socrates. What he read changed his life. Zeno began to study philosophy and eventually founded his own school, teaching under a painted arcade called the Stoa Poikile. That porch gave Stoicism its name. Zeno's message was simple, but revolutionary. Happiness comes not from what we have, but from how we live. Peace is found not in changing the world, but in mastering ourselves. The school Zeno started would pass through generations, influencing some of the greatest minds in history. Among them, Seneca the Younger, a Roman senator, playwright, and advisor to the Emperor Nero. Seneca lived at the heart of political power, yet his writings focus on how to live simply, how to use time well, and how to face death without fear. His letters to Lucilius are still studied today for their insight, depth, and practical advice on everything from anger to wealth to friendship. Epictetus. Born a slave, crippled early in life, Epictetus taught that no external force can harm our soul without our consent. He had no possessions, no status, and no power, yet radiated a kind of inner wealth that drew students to him from across the Roman Empire. His teachings, compiled by his student Arrian in the Discourses and Enchiridion, form one of Stoicism's clearest, most accessible voices, Marcus Aurelius. Perhaps Stoicism's most famous figure. As Roman emperor, Marcus wielded immense power, yet his personal journal, what we now call Meditations, reveals a man struggling humbly with his own failings, trying every day to be just, humble, and wise. He ruled during plague, war, and betrayal, but never allowed the external world to shake his internal compass. These weren't isolated academics. They were deeply embedded in the real world. They knew betrayal, pressure, loss, fame, failure. They had power, and they had vulnerability. And yet, they returned again and again to a central truth. We are not disturbed by events, but by our judgments about them. Stoicism isn't about detachment, it's about right attachment. It teaches us to care deeply but wisely, to love but without clinging, to act but without obsession over results, and to meet life not with complaint, but with character. What makes this philosophy so enduring is its accessibility. Anyone can practice it, rich or poor, ruler or servant. It doesn't require special robes, temples, or rituals. It only asks that we examine ourselves honestly, take responsibility for our thoughts and actions, and strive to live in harmony with reason and virtue. In this way, Stoicism is both ancient and immediate. It's a voice from the past that lives with us in the present, whispering in our ear during moments of stress, confusion, or fear. You have the power to respond well. The deep philosophies that keep Stoicism alive. Why does Stoicism still breathe today when so many ancient ideas have gone silent? It's not just its elegance or simplicity, it's the depth of its insights into human nature. Let's walk slowly through some of its core ideas, the pillars that hold this temple of thought upright, the dichotomy of control. Everything in Stoicism begins here. Some things are up to us, and some are not. Our thoughts, our actions, our values, those are ours. Everything else, weather, wealth, other people, even our own bodies, is beyond our command. Epictetus tells us that true freedom begins the moment we stop trying to control the uncontrollable. This doesn't make us passive. It makes us precise. We stop scattering our energy and start focusing it. Ask yourself, what today have I worried about that is outside my control? What would happen if I simply let that go? This principle alone can relieve so much modern suffering. We live in an age of hypercontrol, where apps promise to manage every detail, and failure feels like a personal collapse. But the Stoic knows better. The Stoic knows peace begins where control ends, living in harmony with nature. To the Stoics, nature isn't just trees and rivers. It's the inner order of the universe and of ourselves. To live in accordance with nature means to live rationally, virtuously, and in harmony with our role as human beings. We are social, thinking creatures. Our nature is to use reason, to live ethically, and to contribute to the common good. Every time we lie, indulge, or act selfishly, we betray that nature. Every time we act with justice, courage, wisdom, or self-restraint, we return to it. This principle touches everything from how we spend our time to how we treat others. It's an ethical compass. Are we acting in harmony with who we are? Or are we chasing something that doesn't align with our higher selves? Amor fati, love of fate. Nietzsche borrowed this phrase, but it lives in Stoicism. It means not just accepting fate, but loving it, welcoming whatever life brings as fuel for the fire of growth. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: the barrier to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is the heart of Stoic resilience. Life doesn't owe us comfort, but every discomfort can be turned into virtue. Every hardship is a chance to become more of who we're meant to be. To love fate is to stop resisting life, to stop saying, "Why me?" and start saying, "Why not me?" It's to take whatever happens, not with bitterness, but with brave curiosity. Memento mori, remember you must die. This might sound dark, but to the Stoics, remembering death is the key to living fully. Seneca says, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Remembering that life ends clarifies what matters. It sharpens our priorities. It humbles our ego. When we remember we will die, we stop postponing presence. We say the words we've been holding back. We drop petty grudges. We live. Death isn't an enemy in Stoicism. It's a teacher. It wakes us up. It tells us, this moment matters. This day is not a rehearsal. Live it. Control your judgments, and you control your life. Events happen. People lie, accidents occur, markets crash, but these don't create suffering on their own. Suffering comes from our interpretations. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. The space between stimulus and response is where freedom lives. You can choose how to see, and how you see determines how you live. This is especially powerful today in an era of narratives. We are constantly told how to interpret events. through headlines, tweets, and soundbites. Stoicism calls us back to sovereignty. It says, think for yourself, judge with reason, choose your frame. Stoicism in the modern world. Now we come to the heart of the conversation. What does Stoicism offer us today? The answer is a lot. In an age of instant gratification, attention fatigue, and existential confusion, Stoicism serves as both anchor and compass. Its relevance has only grown in our time, where external circumstances shift rapidly and people seek lasting stability within. In a time of distraction, it offers focus. We live in an era engineered for distraction. Our attention is stretched across apps, feeds, and alerts. The Stoics invite us to reclaim our mind. They teach us that attention is a form of moral choice. Marcus Aurelius warned against being pulled by every whim and asked himself constantly, is this essential? To live as a Stoic in the 21st century means to pause, to choose deliberately, to resist being ruled by noise. A simple practice. Start each day by identifying what truly matters, then return to it often. Let every action serve it. In a time of anxiety, it offers calm. Anxiety is often rooted in fear of the unknown. The Stoic answer is not blind optimism, but courageous realism. You may not control the future, they say, but you can prepare your mind. Instead of spiraling in fear, a Stoic prepares rationally and acts virtuously. You do your best, accept the outcome, and let go of the rest. It sounds simple, but it's profoundly transformative when practiced daily. You learn to live not by fear, but by principle. In a time of entitlement, it offers gratitude. Many of us, without realizing it, walk through life feeling owed by others, by fate, by the world. But Stoicism flips this mindset. You are owed nothing, and everything you have is a gift. That shift is powerful. It softens resentment. It cultivates humility. Seneca recommended imagining the loss of what we have as a way to deepen our appreciation. This is not to live in fear, but to awaken gratitude. Try it. Imagine today is your last with someone you love. How would you treat them? That awareness isn't morbid. It's awakening. It brings us fully into the present. In a time of isolation, it offers connection. Though Stoicism is often thought of as solitary, it is deeply communal. The Stoics believed we are part of a whole, a shared human family. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our nature is to live in cooperation. This has profound implications. Stoicism asks us to forgive more easily, to speak more gently, and to recognize our shared flaws. Every person you meet is fighting their own battle, ruled by their own impressions. Compassion isn't weakness, it's wisdom. In leadership, it offers integrity. Leadership today is often measured by visibility, speed, and charisma. Stoicism invites a different model, a leader anchored in virtue. Marcus Aurelius led an empire with humility. He wrote not about his victories, but about controlling his anger, staying honest, being fair. A Stoic leader doesn't seek applause. They seek justice. They serve the people, not their ego. And you don't need to be a CEO or president to lead this way. You lead when you guide your child through disappointment. You lead when you take responsibility instead of blaming others. You lead when you show up with consistency and calm. In crisis, it offers resilience. The Stoics prepared for adversity not because they were pessimists, but because they were realists. They knew storms would come, so they trained themselves to stand tall. When the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted lives globally, many turned to Stoicism. Why? Because Stoicism doesn't promise safety. It promises strength. It doesn't ask, how can I avoid pain? It asks, how can I respond well to it? That question is empowering. It returns agency to the individual. You might not control events, but you always control your values. In ordinary life, it offers purpose. Not every moment is dramatic. Most of life is small choices: how we speak, how we listen, how we spend our time. Stoicism teaches us that each of these is a chance to practice excellence. Cleaning your home, answering emails, comforting a friend, these are not distractions from life, they are life, and each one offers an opportunity to express character. That's the secret of Stoic purpose. It's not found in some future goal. It's discovered right here, in how you handle this hour, this obstacle, this interaction. In a world that rewards appearances, it offers depth. Much of modern life is performative. We present curated versions of ourselves. Stoicism asks, who are you when no one is watching? Are you kind when it costs you nothing? Are you honest when dishonesty would be easier? Are you disciplined when there's no reward? That's where true character lives, in the quiet choices, the invisible victories. And Stoicism helps you build that kind of character, day by day. Now bring all the thoughts together. Stoicism isn't for the faint of heart. It asks a lot. It asks you to stop blaming others, to stop making excuses, to look inward with courage and clarity, to live deliberately. But in return, it offers something precious: peace. Not the peace that comes from ease or comfort, but the peace that comes from alignment. From knowing you are doing your best, no matter what life throws at you. Marcus Aurelius, sitting alone in his tent before battle, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." That's the Stoic call. Not to theorize, to act, not to wait, to live. With stillness in your soul, strength in your heart, and virtue in your hands. The world is noisy. Stoicism is still. But in that stillness, there is fire, a quiet, enduring flame. And it's waiting for you. Fan it, feed it, and let it guide you through this complex, beautiful, unpredictable life. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more deep content. We cover philosophies of life,